What is tourism? This is a quick video, some questions that's bothering me about tourism in Tobago, on the twin island of Trinidad and Tobago. In the recent election, you heard a lot of talk about Europeans and tourism and racism. And the racism that was being spoken about in the Tobago elections was more or less about racism between Africans and Indians that exists, basically prejudice that exists between Indians and Africans against each other. Now, within this movement, you had a lot of people voicing their opinions, and you got a lot of Tobagoans that I've heard for myself say, well, I don't watch nobody as different from anybody. We're all human beings. And one person in particular made a statement about tourism. And was like, for example, look at white people. They come here, we survive off of white people. They come here, they're always courteous, they're always kind, they give, you know, and tourism is part of our economy. Now, what confused me the slave that was free and complained about freedom and said, listen, I'd rather go back on the plantation because this out here is too hard. Now, there is two sides to that coin. Some people would say, what, dude, crazy? You just been free. You want to go back into slavery? But there are some dynamics that need to be examined in that whole situation. When the slave realizes that he's at a complete disadvantage, I've been free, so-called free, and I've been let loose into society, and now I have to survive. And I have to face the same people that had me as slaves, that don't see any tangible reason in their lives, not decisions of the government, in their lives, not to exploit the African. So you're back into exploitation, and survival still remains an issue. What is going on in Tobago with what they call tourism? Let's really examine it. I'm going to give it to you real. I believe it's every Thursday that you can go to Scarborough Airport and see a height of security. Mainly because the big planes are leaving. The planes that came from faraway lands with a whole lot of Europeans on them. Security is heightened because our security forces are looking for cocaine carriers. A lot of these people come down on these islands, they're too afraid, they come down to Trinidad and Tobago specifically, they're too afraid to go to Venezuela. They come down on these islands as tourists and vacationers, and they come here for their drugs. And they get away with it. And a lot of times, when you read the Tobago newspaper, I guarantee you this year you're going to see more. Every year you see them, they get arrested. Some of them, they get arrested. Who's going to Switzerland, who's going to Sweden? They get arrested with their cocaine and a couple keys. But what comes out of these matters? When you go into Tobago prison, when you go into Trinidad prison, how many Europeans do you see sitting in the prison because they've been found guilty of some cocaine case? Trafficking, international trafficking. You don't see them. But you see our brothers and sisters sitting in prisons for little joints. This is a double standard. Exploitation as far as I'm concerned. Manipulation of our law and order. Now, again, another thing these tourists come down here for, they stroll on our beaches. Crown Point, Pigeon Point, Turtle Beach. They come down there looking for black men. Some of them are white men, some of them are white couples. If you be on these beaches, then you will know the truth. I have been on these beaches and I've spent a lot of time on these beaches. And I came to realize that this whole thing is just based on sex. They come down here and they're scouting for sex slaves. And a lot of these guys, they're like more than willing to participate because it's like a way out of poverty. All a European got to tell a guy on the beach is like, hey, have you ever been to Germany? And that's it. Germany? When people are programmed and they're taught that they grew up in a third world country and poverty is a reality of their life, anywhere sounds better than here. We allow ourselves to be exploited again. Not only do these Europeans come here and most of the time stay above the line of the law, not only do they drag out the little bit of resources that we have, but this is nothing more than a big plantation that Master visits frequently, and a transit spot, and a drug trade for the Europeans, between the Europeans and the Spanish. But you drive around Tobago and you see that the country, the people, their mentality, Tobago has been labeled a tourist country, so they're trained to serve the tourists, to accommodate the tourists, the Europeans. This is new world servitude. You go to the restaurants, you see our people tripping over themselves to serve the European. You go on the beaches, you see with your eyes, you literally see young Africans dancing. Dancing like, excuse me, you know what I mean? Dancing for the Europeans. Dancing for the tourists. Literally dancing. They cater to their every needs. They will dust the sand under their slippers when they walk off the beach. Now, what type of people, what type of children are we raising in this type of environment? What type of children are we raising when we talk about independence? We talk about developing a nation. Is the development of Tobago like non-existent? The people that have been programmed that their survival is based on tourism. If a crime is committed against a tourist in Tobago, you see Tobagoans holding their head. Oh, of course, that's going to stop the Germans from coming. That's going to stop the Americans from coming. We're on a red flag alert. They just killed the white guy down on the beach. And everybody's head is hot. And you see the guys walking on the beach and they're like, the jet skis are not renting, the tourists are not coming. You see the woman selling the crab and dumpling and she's like, the tourists are not coming. It even has gone so far that within the elections you heard a lot of people, a lot of Africans in Tobago saying, man, it's the Indians that come from Trinidad and spend their weekends in Tobago and support the tourism. So what kind of destiny do you have for a country that the economy is based on tourism? what type of self-esteem, what type of love and pride as a Tobagonian are we instilling in our young ones when you send them off to go take hospitality classes and they barely have respect for their mothers and fathers in their homes? But when they head on those beaches, when they see a white guy, a white woman out here, yes sir, yes ma'am. You attack a tourist in the middle of the city here and see if you don't get all these Africans on top of your back. You get beaten to the station, you get beaten from the station to the prison, you get beaten in the prison. And then the judge is going to beat you with numbers that you can't count. The point is, Tobago needs to look past the serving of our ex-enslavers. We need to look past making these ex-slave masters our priority, serving them our priority and our survival as a country, as a nation of people. And we need not to forget the sugarcane plantations. They're all over Tobago. How could you forget? How could you forget what took place on this land? Tobago was a very important country in the slave trade because of the hurricanes. And it was said that the hurricanes always missed Tobago. So here was a great place for business for the slave masters. Their crops was never destroyed. It's strictly fertile land. Tobago had booming business for the slave masters. Now that they're gone, you're telling me that Tobago's survival, main source of survival, is dependent on these same people to revisit us? Somebody please explain this to me. I'm trying to understand. I'm really, really trying to understand. Because this mentality is affecting our youth, how we look at ourselves and how we look at other people. On this island, the general mentality is outsiders are more important, and you cannot say just any outsider because a Trinidadian has come here, an African Trinidadian comes here and he's discriminated against. Some of them tell you straight up, I don't like Trinidadians. But they're not telling you the truth behind their statement. It's not that they don't like Trinidadians. They welcome the Indians from Trinidad. They don't like the African Trinidadians. And these brothers and sisters over here are Africans. It's not making sense. You have an island where the people has love for everybody else but themselves. And they're dependent on everyone else but themselves. I think it's time we address this.